There is a website that offers its users the chance to experience the, to quote, ultimate horror. This website, called blindmaiden.com, is supposedly a site dedicated to a doomed spirit that will enter the home of people who have viewed that site. However, no matter how hard you try, your browser won't allow you to enter the site. You see, to access this site, you must wait until exactly 12 AM, making sure the night in question is in a new moon night. You must be on your own in your home with all the lights turned off. Only when these conditions are met, you will be granted access to the site. As soon as you enter, you will see a montage of pictures being displayed quickly. These images are of boys and girls without eyes and faces that are twisted in tremendous fear. After that, a text will appear on the monitor saying, "This website will take you to a whole new level of horror, a horror that will use all 5 of your senses. You must be very careful not to click on anything by accident. You will be faced with a real experience of absolute horror. Click the accept button to engage actively in the experience. Accept and decline." If you click decline, you will be rewarded with access to the entire archive of these gruesome images. A gore site, pretty much. Click accept, however, and there will be no turning back. You have sealed your fate, and trust me, you will experience the ultimate horror. Upon accepting, you'll see a sinister silhouette walking towards your home on your monitor. The spirit will then approach and enter the same room you are in. You will then see your own back on the monitor, and you will feel a presence behind you. Suddenly, you will feel somebody tapping on your shoulder, and as you turn around, you will see the blind maiden's face and scream in terror. And that will be the last thing you do, as she will then kill you. The blind maiden will then pluck your eyes out and take a photo of your face. Congratulations, you have successfully completed the ritual, and as a reward, that photo will forever be a part of the website's picture gallery, just like all the other photos of people who are stupid or curious enough to press the accept button. And yes, if you are a thrill seeker, then you will love the last few moments of your life. One day, I was screwing around at school. I was on our school's homepage, procrastinating on some random PowerPoint I should finish. On the side of our school's homepage, it showed links for our classes that we use when we go on the computers. One of the websites was called www.findagrave.com. I thought about it for a second, then clicked on it. But before I did, I felt uneasy. Like, why is this here? It's not like we were doing some ancestry project or anything. It made me feel odd. It made me think of all the stories of things that happened on the internet. But I'm just paranoid, right? The website was rather simple. The owner obviously did not care whatsoever about how they were putting things together. It was a mostly white page, laid out evenly with many links. To the average person, it seemed like a site you'd come across if you mistyped a URL in. One of the many links laid out was "Search 87 million grave records." I felt a chill run down my spine. This was not right. I nudged my friend Olivia to look at this site with me. She laughed a bit and logged onto it as well. We started to type in names of dead people we know, which their biographies and photos actually showed up. Another odd thing is, someone has gone around and taken photos of their grave. Nearly every deceased family member I searched, a picture of their headstone came up. The period soon came to an end, and I went on with the rest of the school day, not thinking about it. That night, I got home, and I told my mother about it. She just laughed and told me how weird it was. I still didn't feel right about it. Who in their right mind would go around and take photos of random people's graves? I asked my mother who the person who added the photo of my great-grandmother's tombstone was. The name was listed, and she had no idea. In my best interest, I decided to prod around the website a bit more. I started typing in names of famous dead people, such as Kurt Cobain. There was a feature on the site where you could leave virtual flowers on the grave, which was kind of thoughtful in my mind. But the entire concept of this is still unsettling. It was well into the night. All of my internet friends had gone to sleep, but I had drank an entire liter of Coke before I thought I should sleep, so I was awake and curious. Going through the site, I started to type in random names of alive celebrities to see if they had anyone of the same name that is dead. Then, I started to type in people's names who I knew, and myself. That was a bad mistake. I typed in my name, a grin spreading across my face when I saw people of the same name. I don't know why I was so pleased by this, but I was. I clicked on all 4 of the results, looking at where they're from and what years they died. The more I kept looking at those 2 contributions, the more scared I grew. I should have just shut the laptop as soon as I realized that all the dead with the same name as myself were in states surrounding my own. The birth dates and death dates were slowly increasing to mine. Clicking the back button, it said, showing 4 of 5 results. Had I missed one? I could have sworn that I went through them already. I scrolled down further to see the newest entry. I clicked on it. It said my birth year and the date of the next day. The photo included was me with someone standing behind me at 11:59, just before midnight. In the September of 2008, reports of an unexplained mass suicide swept the globe as thousands of individuals ranging from the age of 12 to 24 tragically took their own lives for unknown reasons. The very idea of so many youths committing such a terrible act is flabbergasting, with no initial explanation surrounding these events in sight. However, due to recent reports leaked from top-secret government files, it is now reasonable to assume that the culprit may have been an unusual email sent around the world by an individual whose email account was deemed untraceable by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Evidence from suicide notes suggests that this email contained a link to a strange website called reviculfotsen.com, or Nest of Lucifer backwards. The information gathered surrounding these strange events states that the website's background portrays grotesque images of what appear to be mutilated infant corpses, which seem to have a deep red blood leaking from empty eye sockets, and in the center of the page, a single video. It is believed that this video will take a different form to any one individual witnessing it, but one factor remains common to all known cases. It will constantly portray the observer's violent death. When interrogated, Google employees have claimed to have no knowledge of any website called reviculfotsen, and it seems the website was actually up for only a month before being closed for unknown reasons. The site has not appeared in any user's internet history, regardless of whether they deleted it or not. The following is a note recovered from the late Jason Forsyth, who tragically took his own life on the 25th of September 2008. To all my family and friends, I beg your forgiveness for this selfish act I am about to commit. I only hope you'll find it within your caring hearts to understand my reasons for this act. When I received the email, I assumed it to be nothing more than the tiresome spam I usually receive, and I reluctantly clicked on the link contained therein. I saw the video. I saw the damn video. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have clicked it, but my curiosity got the better of me. I pressed play. The video showed. It showed me. My God, I could scarcely watch the damn thing. It showed me. It showed me sitting there. It showed me sitting at my desk at my computer when this thing appeared behind me. And the video turned red. The thing looked like a naked humanoid with no visible sexual organs. The being did not appear to have any eyes, and it opened. It opened its mouth and devoured me. I screamed as I was devoured. There was so much blood. It made me sick. I'm sorry. Sometime after the disappearance of refugolfotsen.com, intelligence agencies across the world received an email from an unidentified email address saying, "Don't worry, I'll be back soon," smiley face. We have no idea if this website will ever return to the internet, but just in case, do yourself a favor that might just save your life. Never, ever log onto refugolfotsen.com. You have been warned. About a year ago, I frequented one of those sites where people post a variety of funny pictures, videos, and all kinds of stupid internet memes. I didn't do much after school besides sitting on my computer, wasting time back then. Sometimes I would browse the newest upload section of the site, looking for pictures that might give me a quick laugh or smile. My internet connection was slow and laggy, so I always skipped over posts of videos, being too impatient to wait for any of them to buffer just to see some 30-second clip of a guy getting hit in the crotch or whatever. But there was this one time I made an exception. I spotted a video called "Radio Host Prank Called," which quickly captured my interest. I figured something like that was worth waiting a minute or so to watch. The video clip turned out to be audio only with a black screen for the entire duration. I probably should have expected that, considering the post title did say it was a radio host. The man in the video who was being prank called ran an internet radio show called The Real Eagle, where he apparently spent a few hours twice a week ranting about how the white people were the only real Americans and other racist nonsense like that. The guy sounded kind of old, maybe in his 40s or 50s, and talked in a low, sort of grumbling tone. He also went by the alias Dusty. Not surprising that he wouldn't use his real name. But what was mainly important here was that during the last 20 minutes of every show, he would do a segment where he started accepting phone calls from the audience. Needless to say, it was hilarious. Every single call the guy received was a joke, and let me tell you, it made the guy mad. Sure, the jokes the callers pulled in him were pretty lame, but it was Dusty's reaction that made it so entertaining. At one point, towards the end of the show, you could hear him throw something at the wall and curse far away from the mic, as if he were about to leave the room in his anger. After I'd seen that video, I started visiting Dusty's webpage at the radio blogging site to listen to the show live. Even without the barrage of prank calls, it was funny enough just to listen to his idiotic rants on their own. He would say crap like, "We need to purge the blacks and Mexicans from our soil," almost on a daily basis. The site had a chat room box on the side where everyone that visited mocked the hell out of him during every broadcast. Dusty never paid attention to it though. The site he hosted the show off of had a chat box for every individual broadcast by default, so I guess he either never noticed or just didn't care. I spent the next few months listening to Dusty whenever he was on. Every Monday and Friday from 8 PM to 11 PM, he was on the air spouting the same nonsense with a little rewording. Despite all the prank calls he received, he would always still proceed with a phone call segment at the end of every show. You would think by then he would learn his lesson and call it quits, but he never did. Similarly, you could say the same thing about me. Nothing really changed over the months that I listened to Dusty, and I wasn't even one of the people that consistently prank called him every show. To me, listening to The Real Eagle was just another way to kill my boredom. Sure, the show was funny, but it never really caught on or grossed a huge following. At most, there were maybe 150 people that turned into the show live at once, and I can almost guarantee that every single one of them were there to mock and laugh at him. For these reasons, what happened during one particular episode took me completely by surprise. It was the start of the last 20 minutes of the show. Everything up to that point was ordinary. My parents are out, so I'd been parked on my living room couch with a laptop and headphones, listening to the pathetic rantings of Dusty, now awaiting the almost routine barrage of prank calls from his fans. This is where things began to get odd. Rather than starting the last segment like he usually would, Dusty instead had gotten strangely quiet, and then got up, leaving the room without a word. Several minutes had passed without a sound. Everyone in the chat room was going berserk, clearly peeved that they weren't getting the chance to harass their favorite bigot. Some had even started leaving, most likely thinking that Dusty had simply had enough of their crap and just left them to sit there like idiots for the rest of the show. I was about to give up and leave the livestream myself, until the distant noise of a door opening sounded through over the broadcast. Curious to see what Dusty had come back for, I stopped myself from closing the window and listened. As I heard Dusty re-enter the room, there were muffled sounds of him shouting stuff along the lines of, "Get in here," in a few different variations, followed by the muted sounds of someone sobbing. I was now even more curious. Dusty had never once brought another person on the show before. Every other broadcast, it had only ever been him, alone, doing the show. But besides the obvious questions of who this new person was and why they were there, what concerned me more was why they were crying, and why Dusty was shouting at them in such a threatening voice. All of this had caught me off guard, and I was starting to feel a sinking feeling brewing in my gut. The soft crying noise grew louder as Dusty and the second person approached the still turned on microphone. Now closer, the crying from the other person was clearer now. The sound quality of the microphone Dusty used for his show was far from great, and you could only hear him clearly when he talked directly into the microphone. But I could still tell that this person was a woman. Between her cries, I could hear her softly pleading, "Please," she begged, "stop it." I wasn't sure at first due to the scratchy audio, but it had sounded like the woman had an accent of some kind. I couldn't tell you which, but I think you can understand why that would be relevant to mention. Before my head could fill itself with any more questions, Dusty himself began speaking into the microphone with the same threatening, authoritative tone he had just ordered the woman in. "In this beautiful land we live in, filthy cretins like these wander in and taint the progress of the true Americans." His words were nothing different from anything else I've heard him say in previous shows, but hearing him say them in the current circumstances carried a sense of dread with it. I was more than a little unsettled at this point, and I was greatly reconsidering the option of leaving the broadcast. The chat box, which was usually flooding with heckling at the show host, had noticeably decreased in activity. I imagined that everyone was most likely focusing directly on what was happening on the show right now. Dusty continued on, speaking more nonsense about a pure race and how he would cleanse the US of all who dared to taint it. I can't fully recall everything he had said at this point, as I was more focused on the sound of the woman's crying. This went on for a few moments, with me listening attentively, hoping that everything was going to be okay, and that this woman was not actually in any kind of danger. Suddenly, Dusty's rant came to an abrupt stop, and was immediately followed by a loud clicking noise. The woman began screaming in reaction, her yells gaining an echo as she ran away from wherever the microphone was placed. Her pleading words from earlier were now intensified and desperate, now loud enough to be picked up by the mic at a distance. "Please don't do this, just stop." That was when it hit me. I couldn't tell at first due to the previously mentioned audio quality issues, but that clicking noise must have been the cocking of a gun. Dusty was going to shoot this woman. My mind did not want to fully accept the belief that this woman was in serious danger, but there was no way to deny it now. This couldn't have been a prank. The woman's cries for help sounded too real. I was now convinced that Dusty had forced this woman into the location of wherever it was that he hosted the show from and planned to shoot her. I had completely frozen up. What the hell was I supposed to do now? It wasn't as if I could just pick up the phone and call the cops. This was a radio show on the internet. There was no way they'd be able to do anything. At least not immediately anyway. Panic began to overwhelm me as I struggled to think of something, anything I could do. The woman's begging had suddenly grown louder. It was hard to hear over her shouting, but Dusty also began to say something. The way his voice was muffled indicated that he had his back to the mic. "You've ruined our land. You're a disease, and I'm the cure." Unable to do anything else, the woman once again pleaded with her attacker. "You don't have to do this," the woman shouted. "I won't tell anyone. Please, just let me..." Bang. Silence. All of the noise ceased, and the only sound I could hear was the rapid beating of my heart. The loud bang had sent a jolt through my body. Once again, I was frozen in place, not knowing what to do. And then my brain finally finished processing everything I had just heard. Dusty had just killed that woman. Upon realizing this, my mind began to panic, and I started to try and convince myself that this was all just a dream or elaborate hoax. All the while, hearing nothing but the static from the broadcast through my headphones, with no sound coming from the gunman. I shook my head, desperately trying to remove the gruesome image of the woman's dead body from my mind. Several more minutes of silence passed. I don't know why I didn't just close the browser. I just sat there, listening, unable to do anything else. I don't know how long this continued for, but eventually some of my sense began to return to me, and I moved my mouse towards the red X on the top right corner of the screen. But then something stopped me. In a tone that sounded as if he were grinning, Dusty spoke into the microphone one last time. "They snuck into our country by the waves of the ocean. I'll make sure they go back the same way, one piece at a time." I clicked and closed the browser.